What's goody, what's goody, what's goody, y'all? It's your girl, Amanda. We're back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, we are recording this on August 28th, 2025 at 11:49 p.m. So, it is a late night for me, but I just wanted to, leave you guys with something. So, if you follow me on YouTube, you clearly see that I've been uploading a lot of videos. Okay, maybe not a lot, but like probably three within the past 2 days, which is great. Um, I'm learning how to like get more of the reviews out there. I see you guys really like the reviews, so I try to do as much of them as possible. Also, another idea I've been kind of like dealing with is just going back and watching some documentaries or movies and stuff I've already seen and probably doing a review on it. Like, I thought about doing a review on George Carlin's American Dream, but I could have sworn I did a video on that. I mean, I don't remember, so that's why I'm like kind of hesitant on it. But I made a whole list of other like movies and stuff that I wanted to make a video for. And then also, we have a lot of new TV shows coming out, a lot of movies coming out, a lot of like other projects on Netflix and stuff coming out. So I really cannot wait to like get those videos out to you guys. So it's the end of August, and we are in the back to school section of the year, which I do love. Now, I have been out of high school for 12 years. I've been out of college for 9 years. So me like worrying about like registering for classes and stuff and getting my books and all that, those days are long gone over. And I don't have no interest in going back to school. I'm sorry, people keep asking me, you should go back, you should go back, get your bachelor. I'm good. I, I'm not a school person. Honestly, I'm really not a school person. I have one degree. I think one is enough for me. Like I'm good. I'm good. But the reason why I like back to school so much, because like the stores like Walmart and the dollar store, even the reason why I like going there during back to school is because of the sales on supplies like notebooks and pens. I know I can get like a pack of Sharpie fine line pens for like $5, and those like normally go for 10 to 15, even for like a 4 pack. So I'm very, very, very excited about this time of year. Just seeing the kids go back to school, starting new grades, having like a fresh start in the new year. Um, I just love seeing it. I have a great nephew. He's in first grade, and then my niece. I think she's still a little baby. She's not in school yet. So, yeah. And then I got cousins who had kids. They're probably in like first, second grade. A lot of my older cousins, they already, long gone, graduated college and stuff. But mostly, we do have like little baby relatives, and I do see on social media that, they're getting ready for the new school year. Um, the reason why I wanted to start with opening with school like talk is because we recently had a school shooting in Minnesota, and I just hate that it's back to school season, and you know those babies that were affected by the school shooting, they had to go through that. What really confused me, or not confused, but like probably concerned me, was that the school shooting took place at a Catholic school, and I went to Catholic school um, my junior year of high school, and then I also went to Catholic school in middle school, and I could kind of remember like not really an officer, but like a older gentleman, or maybe they did have an officer. I just didn't really remember. So I just wanted to know, like, did they have security at that school? Like, I also heard that the shooting took place while they were in church, which I think is awful. Um, and also another reason why I brought up the like school shooting in Minnesota is because there is a lot of back and forth about the cell phone ban. And if you ask me, I'm very against the cell phone ban because people do say, oh, if it's an emergency, they can call their parents in the school office. All right, so say the school is big, 3 stories, probably like 50,000 square feet. I'm probably thinking about my middle school, which was in the same building as a high school. So I don't know if all middle schools were built like that, but it probably would take that child like 10 minutes just to get to the office, whereas their cell phone is right in their backpack or in their pocket. I get the distraction and stuff, but when I was in school, when I was like, I think in high school, and by the time I turned like 16, 17, this was like when smartphones really started to become not what they are now, but they started to become on the market. Like people could have access to them and pay like $80 to $90 for them. They were really small back in the day. My first smartphone was like small. And there was the rule, like you could have your cell phone on you, but it just has to be on silent. No, like no, you don't even hear it vibrate. Like it has to be silent or off. And I do like that rule that, kids can have their cell phone very close to them. These school shootings are becoming more and more rampant. I feel like each year it's just getting worse and worse. And our Congress and our lawmakers and stuff, they're not doing nothing about it, which shocks me because at the same time, like y'all are really pushing people to have children, but you're not protecting them. Make that make sense. So yeah, I'm very against the cell phone ban. The kids just gotta have their cell phones close to them, just on super silent, no vibrations, none of that. Um, Also, is it so common that school shootings are happening that they had to make that commercial? Y'all know what the commercial I'm talking about. It's like it starts so innocent. Like it could be a freaking, I don't know. Like I know we're not supposed to shop at this store at the moment, but it could be a Target commercial. It started so innocent, but then it just talked about, oh, this backpack is good to protect me from the bullets. This skateboard is good to breaking windows to escape. Like it is so sad that we have to, make commercials like that and like involve children in something like that. Like it's just so sad for me. So yeah, I was very like disturbed just to hear like, and the shooting took place in church because it was at a private school. So obviously when you go to like a private religious school, you get your education there and your basic education, reading, writing, arithmetic, and then you go to church. So and that really, really, really disturbed me, and I just hate that I have to report on that and open with that. No child should go through that, especially like in the beginning of the school year. The beginning of the school year, all year round, I should say, it should be a positive, safe experience for them, and I just hate that that happened for them. So, my heart goes out to everyone involved, victims. Um, yeah. So, speaking of school, I do have another like kind of quote unquote controversy. So I was on TikTok, like I always am, and there were some high school students, um, maybe middle school students, as young as middle school students. They were on TikTok talking about how their teachers give them like a certain amount of number of bathroom passes per semester. And I just think that that is so unethical because, and I hate to go into detail about this and, guys listen, but oh well. So, middle school is about the same time that a young girl's period start. And we are in a era of healthcare for women. Well, I wouldn't say it like that, but a lot of young girls are getting endometriosis and all this other like weird, well, not weird, but like, common, I don't want to say dysfunctionalities, like common things like endometriosis and stuff. So it's just so messed up that, people limit their like bathroom privileges, which makes no sense to me. And I just hope that like, sometimes people just do have to go get a doctor's note or something. I just hope like they don't disregard the doctor's note. When I was in middle school, I had a teacher that complained about every time I went to the bathroom. Like I wasn't a type of student that raised my hand to go to the bathroom every day, but my Chinese teacher, he would pick on me because we had little planners that our teacher would fill out, but he would look at the planner and say I go to the bathroom too much. You know what's crazy? The freaking planner or bathroom log was from like the beginning of the school year, and it could be like February, and I'm asking to go to the bathroom. Like, why y'all like are so like, I don't get it. They need to use the bathroom. There's young girls on their periods. There's probably people with bladder issues. I just don't understand that. And I just don't understand, like, more and more I grew up, and y'all can like not side on me, but tell me what y'all think in this. There are more and more like teachers being exposed, or like people going back and thinking like, man, my teacher should not have done that. Like, I had a mean kindergarten teacher. She threw like a deck of cards at students and stuff. I mean, it's not funny, but it's like, it's weird. And you know, I was like 5 years old back then, and that she was doing stuff like that. Now I'm almost 31, and I'm like, yeah, she should not have done that. Like, that's weird. So I just hope, there's no teachers like that. But you can't have everything you want, because I really want everybody just to have a really, really good teacher. um I guess like the elementary school in general I went to didn't have a lot of great teachers. I think the first great teacher I had was my third grade teacher. I had a really great fourth grade teacher and a sixth grade teacher, because my kindergarten teacher was mean. My first grade teacher, she was mean and probably racist. My fifth grade teacher, I didn't understand her at all, basically. Like, I just didn't understand her. So, yeah, third, fourth, and sixth grade were like the best teachers I had. And then going into middle school, I had some great teachers. Some of my teachers were great. Some of them didn't deserve a second contract with the school, basically. And that's what I also found out is like, when a teacher don't come back is because they didn't get their contracts renewed, especially for like a private school, which I was like, dang. So that's why I never saw my eighth grade gym teacher ever again. I don't even remember seeing her like after the graduation part. And like everyone met in the cafeteria, take pictures with your favorite teachers, because you're never going to see them again if you don't go to the high school or whatever. But yeah, like, I never saw her again, which was fine, because she was a bitch. I ain't gonna lie. She was a bitch. Like, you know. But yeah, just that subject about school, and I just hated that school shooting happened. And again, my heart goes out to them. So yeah, I don't want to talk about school shootings the whole time. We're 13 minutes in, so we're gonna move on from that. Funk Flex. So, y'all, a story came out today that, Funk Flex was leaving Hot 97, right? So, I was so busy today. I swear, y'all. I'm so tired, but I'm here recording a podcast with y'all. So, I saw that, Funk Flex was leaving Hot 97, blah, blah, blah. I come home, I log into, TMZ. So, basically, I don't know whether to believe this, because it is TMZ, and sometimes TMZ could be very wrong. So TMZ basically said that Funk Flex, he not leaving the radio station in general. He just getting a new time slot. So he's working 5 to 10. We don't have, the only way we here in Chicago can listen to Hot 97 is if we get like the iHeartRadio app and put it in our cars and listen to him then. But I never listened to Funk Master Flex. I know who he is, because he's been in movies and stuff. He's loud, and I just would hate to have him as a alarm clock. But I never knew like what time he actually came on the radio. Like, did he come on like after 10 o'clock? Like, I don't know why he would come on after 10 o'clock, because people are trying to sleep. Don't nobody want to hear all that yelling. So yeah, they're actually just switching him to 5 to 10. So he ain't going nowhere. And when I first heard the story, I was thinking like, okay, maybe the recession is so bad that they're they're releasing Funk Master Flex from his contract. Maybe Hot 97 was just paying him too much. You know what I mean? So they just can't afford to pay him. But no, it's just that he's getting his time slot changed. So I mean, if y'all in New York, y'all let me know how that go, because I don't listen to Funk Master Flex. I have no access to. So yeah. Um, the next story I want to talk about is Tamar Braxton versus Funky Dineva. So you guys know I like Funky Dineva. He's very funny. I watch his like YouTube show like every night because he comes on Monday through Thursday. He don't do Fridays. He's always said he never do Fridays. But Funky Dineva was friends with Tamar Braxton, and what happened was basically Tamar Braxton pulled a PR stunt, and Funky was a part of it, and in a way he didn't really approve of it, you know. And people started talking, people started accusing Funky Dineva of, you know, doing something to Tamar not so kind that I don't want to say on this podcast, but it wasn't very nice. And then it came out that Tamar was doing this new movie or this new project with Mendices Harris, who is the husband to, or quote unquote husband, because they're not legally married, to Andy from Love and Hip Hop. And Funky Dineva was just hurt and heated, and he was just going off on social media, like how he was hurt, that he was part of PR stunt. And him and Tamar Braxton just went back and forth. And then Tamar Braxton was talking about how she woke up in a puddle of blood, she was missing 4 teeth, blah blah blah. I just want to say, no matter what the details are, Tamar Braxton was wrong. Tamar should have cleared Funky Dineva out of this whole situation, because honestly, it had nothing to do with Funky Dineva. Funky had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? He was just innocently dragging the situation, but shame on Tamar. Shame on it all. And you know, I'm not really a fan of the Braxtons anymore. I mean, I respect like everything Toni Braxton has done. I grew up listening to her music. She's a legend, great. But that TV show that be coming on WeTV and all that stuff, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching that. It just looks a hot mess. Like I'm not trying to be that person, but it just looks a hot mess. And you got Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton. He wasn't man enough for me. Don't be a man about it. The heat. Hit the freeway. Long as I live, Toni Braxton. Bucking at the table, about to get up and fight somebody. Like, Toni should not have ever be like shown in that light. I just hate that they brought that TV show back, knowing what it mentally did to Tamar. But is money needed that bad for you guys just to go and show like all that drama again? Like, when they first came back on TV, like the first season of the Braxtons, where they had to like bring in a grief counselor on camera. Now, there's nothing wrong with grief counseling. There's nothing wrong with therapy. But when you have to do it on camera, I feel like they were doing it to prove a point. But that should have been private when that was going on. Didn't make sense why that they brought that to TV. And it was just a mess. It was a mess, honestly, and I didn't like it. But moving on from that, congratulations to Taylor Swift. So her and Travis Kelce are actually getting married. They had like a really nice engagement photo shoot and stuff. I mean, I'm not a follower of Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce, but congratulations, and about time, because ever since they started dating, like that's all people were fixated on is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting married. Like, when is she marrying Travis? And they would basically follow her around the country. So if she was probably at Travis's house at whatever town he lived in, paparazzi would be like at the town trying to get a sighting. So I hope this one works out, because I know Taylor Swift had like a lot of boyfriends. Nothing wrong with that. But, you know, she could just get married and sit down somewhere, because I'm just tired of hearing about Travis Kelce and her and what she got going on, because, you know, because she's Taylor Swift or whatever. So congratulations to them. Also, guess who else got engaged? Prince Jackson, Michael Jackson's oldest son, which I think is great. because, he lost his dad, and, he kind of had to like live life public and stuff. And I can't speak for the man to see if he liked it or not, but just to see that he has somebody on his side going, like, as he was going through like living a public life and carrying on his father's legacy and stuff, that's just beautiful. So congratulations. And he's like 2 years younger than me, so he's 28, which is a good age to get married. And he got his college degree. He worked doing something. I don't know. I don't know what he exactly does. I know he works like with a charity in his father's name, but I think he does other stuff too. So he's in a good position, and I wish them a lot of luck. And I know that wedding is going to be grand and beautiful, and a lot of the Jackson family is going to be there, because y'all know the Jacksons is a huge family. And I hope Janet Jackson comes too, because I feel like they don't she don't really come to like family functions, but maybe she does and we just don't see it because nobody bothers to like take a picture. So yeah, so congratulations to you, Prince. In the sports world, Shiloh Sanders, he got waived by the Buccaneers over a preseason slap that he did in a game. I think it was like one of the final games of the preseason. And I believe Deion Sanders when he said that the Sanders that Shiloh is going to be straight no matter what. I was going through Twitter today, and I saw that there was a video and Shiloh was like sitting in interview mode, and he was like, I'm gonna be okay, I'm mentally okay. He said he might go into music, modeling, or acting. I'm gonna be very, 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 very honest with you guys. Like, I love Shiloh Sanders. I didn't really get a chance to watch him play this preseason because, not a lot of football games come on TV in the preseason. But once the regular season comes, they're gonna be everywhere. So I really didn't get a chance to watch like a Bucks game or whatever. Um, I didn't really. A part of me didn't really see Shiloh really doing the NFL, if you know what I mean. Hold on, let me get some water. Because if you look at it, Shiloh was undrafted. His brother was formally drafted, but he was undrafted. He signed a contract. His situation just was not formal. And I think that Shiloh is going to do way better outside the NFL. Because let's break it down. Music. He's musically gifted. Like, he's a rapper or singer. I've heard some of his music on his brother's YouTube. He can do music. Modeling. He walked in the New York fashion shows because I watched his mom's like YouTube and heard like TikTok and stuff. He's a really great model. Acting. Let's not forget, he did BMF and he played his father. His father is right. I think Shiloh's going to be okay with or without football. And I think also, oh my God, y'all, like Shiloh has a YouTube, and like ever since probably like 2014, 13, like 12 years ago, a lot of people are making money off YouTube. And I follow Shiloh on YouTube, and he is so entertaining, so funny. Like, when he was drafted to Tampa Bay, he would go all over Tampa Bay and eat at different restaurants. He could do that now and just go to different cities. I know he's from Dallas, Texas. He can do like a part of the show where, hey, I'm home in Texas. Let me show you all my favorite restaurants and stuff. He could do YouTube, and that is a nice income. So yeah, I think Deion Sanders is right. Like, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine, and maybe he won't go back to the NFL, but he has options. So yeah. Also, I want to send a congratulations to Leanna and Travis Hunter. They welcomed a baby boy, so she probably kept the pregnancy a secret. And I was thinking back to like the time she uploaded a video, probably like a month or so ago, and she was kind of crying. If we put two and two together, like those are just hormones, pregnancy hormones, probably. But yeah, they released a video on YouTube. I follow Travis on YouTube, and they released a video of basically documenting her pregnancy, like how she had her little bump to when the little baby was born. So I think really Travis is living a great fairy tale. Like he just got drafted #1 in the NFL this year. Um, he's he went back to Florida because we all know Travis Hunter's really from Florida. He has a beautiful wife, got married in a beautiful ceremony, and now he has his little baby, his first baby. I hope they have more because they're just a nice looking couple. So yeah, so congratulations to Travis and Leanna. I hope you have many, 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 many wonderful children memories and all that stuff. So yeah. Um, Mariah Carey is getting the VMA Vanguard Award, which I think is awesome, but a little bit too years too late. I think she should have got it like 2, 3 years ago, the inaugural year. That's when she should have got it because I think the Vanguard Award is named after Michael Jackson, and she worked with Michael Jackson, and you know she her videos have been playing on MTV for years and years and years. I remember. Um, Also, another good thing about the VMAs is that it's going to be simulcasted on CBS. So obviously, we all know the VMAs is on MTV, but you know, in this day and age, 2025, not a lot of people have cable. Either they choose not to because, oh my God, they got streaming apps, and also it will be aired on Paramount Plus. But you know, people can't really afford cable. You know, cable has been gotten very expensive, and I think that's why, like, maybe some executives, because we're gonna get into one later. Some executives are saying, "Oh my God, this is kind of affecting viewership. Let's do something where everybody has access." And if you have a pair of rabbit ears and a great signal, you got CBS, no problem. So it's gonna be on CBS. I mean, will I be watching? I don't know because I haven't watched the VMAs since like maybe 2010 when I was like 15. Because I don't know like who's on here. I don't know. I mean, I don't know like the new music. I don't really understand anything. I know K-pop is really a big deal, and I don't know nothing about that. So I'm just leave that to the young kids. I'll probably see like some footage on TikTok or something. I leave all that to the young kids. Even like the BET Awards, I hated that I missed the BET Awards though because they had a lot of great stuff. Like they had Mariah Carey on there. Everybody was so dressed up. Everybody didn't look like a pink condom, which I thought was amazing. I really thought it was nice that they enforced like a dress code for the BET Awards. I didn't really see the show, but you know, it was really nice. It was really nice. Um, Moving on, Eric and Mal Menendez have been denied parole. So I need somebody to explain something to me because I don't know nothing about the Menendez brothers. This happened before I was born. But so Eric and Menendez are denied parole, but weren't they like resentenced? So do they like finish their new sentence or they're just never getting out of jail ever again? Like somebody explained that to me. Like I tried to watch the show on Netflix. I kept falling asleep on that. Then there was like a documentary that went with it. I tried watching that. I kept falling asleep on that, so God was trying to tell me something. Um, so yeah, y'all just explain this to me. Like, will they ever get out of jail, or they're just like they're done? They're in there for the rest of their living years, or will they get a chance to appeal? Do they have that opportunity? So I don't want to sit here and say this, that, and the third about the Menendez brothers, and I really don't understand what's going on with them. So if y'all could like break it down to me, like I'm in third grade or something, it would be very, very clutch because I just don't understand. So we're just gonna move on from that. Um, there is going to be a Kobe movie developed about his draft day. When I first heard about this, I was all for it, but I thought that it was going to be a movie about Kobe Bryant's life. Because y'all got to understand, before basketball, Kobe Bryant did have like an not so ordinary life. His father played in the NBA. He moved overseas to Italy for years to a point where he got accustomed to everything, and then he moved back to America during his teenage years. He went straight from the high school to the NBA. He played in the NBA for 20 years, which is kind of unheard of if you ask me, because if you play any sport, especially beyond the 20 years he had, like since he was a kid, that stuff does numbers on your body. So, and also he did amazing things outside of basketball, writing books, documentaries, all that stuff. And then he unfortunately passed away. So I thought it was going to be like a full movie on his life. Like that would have been incredible. But I later read that it was going to be about his draft day. Now, do y'all remember that movie Draft Day about like this guy being drafted into the, I guess, NFL or something? It had, I think it was Billy Bob Thornton or somebody in there. So what I think is it's going to probably be like that, but it's gonna have like a whole factual things that happen for Kobe. So they'll probably like hire his agent or his friends or something to be a part of that project. And I would really love to see it because y'all gotta understand, Kobe Bryant was drafted in 1996, right? We're talking the mid 90s, and there wasn't the technology that we have now. There was no smartphones to automatically get a text to the prospect saying, "Hey, you're getting drafted on this day and this day and the third." There was no FaceTime. There was no phones to watch what's going on in real time or watching like cable shows and all that stuff. There was none of that. So it's gonna probably include the dramedies of all that stuff, which I think is incredible. Will probably shock the younger generation to see how we lived during that time. Now, granted, I was 1 years old. I don't remember most of it. I remember cable TV on one TV. I remember the box. I remember cars not having CD players till like 1998, 1999. VHS tape, all that stuff. I remember that, but I wouldn't remember everything. So it's a good idea just to see how things went during the draft day for Kobe. Y'all also got to understand that Kobe was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, and then he was traded to LA, and he was never to be traded to another team for the next 20 years. So it's really cool to see something like that. And I hope it's just not in the style of Draft Day, the NFL movie. I don't, I want Kobe's story to be told in factuals. I'm gonna say in fiction, in factuals, but Hollywood, they're gonna probably add some like fiction in there or whatever. So, um, let's see what else. Lunel, and I was kind of upset hearing this news about Lunel. Hold on, yeah, I gotta get some water. So, Lunel, she opened up about feeling embarrassed about not having a mansion, and how all her counterparts have a mansion. And I just want to tell Lunel, like, there is nothing wrong with not having a mansion, because let me tell you, mansions are freaking expensive. They're expensive to heat, they're expensive to cool, they're expensive on your body to maintain. They're like, it's a lot. Like, I know someone who lives in a 3,000 square foot home, and sometimes I go in rooms and it's dusty. Like, because they, like, whoever lived there, like, they have to clean it up, and it's just only two people that live there, and it's a lot. Like, as the years go by, when I was a kid, like, the goal was to get a mansion, right? We gotta get a mansion with 500 bedrooms and 600 shitters, but it's a lot to maintain. So now our society is shifting to tiny houses, really nice tiny houses. So there's nothing wrong with not having a mansion, and you have a wonderful peace of mind in whatever home you have that you can maintain. You can heat, cool, and all that stuff, and it's not expensive. So don't feel bad. Like, as I get older, for me, it's not even the goal anymore. Like, I one time I wanted to and this was when I was a teenager. I had no concept of money, or I didn't know nothing about tax brackets and property taxes and all this stuff. So my dream home, my first dream home, was this ranch, like this horse ranch in Calabasas, because I was all about, like, watching the Kardashians. So I wanted to be a Kardashian. I wanted to live in Calabasas. Turns out them girls live in a damn gated community. This was a regular ranch. It had a wrought iron gate in the front. So I would keep people out. So I thought I would be somebody. But, and I always thought it would just be me, because I was like 13, 14. I wasn't really thinking about boys at that age. And I thought it's just going to be me and this big house and all that stuff. Listen, I sometimes get worn out just by straightening up my room. So imagine if I bought that ranch in Calabasas. I think it was like 4,600 square feet. I would have probably been worn out. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, tiny houses are in. So don't worry. I don't want her to, like, feel like that. And Kevin Hart and all them, they hire people to maintain that house. They don't clean their own house, I bet. So it's nothing to worry about. So, do you guys watch, like, YouTube and stuff, like YouTubers? So what I'm starting to notice is, like, I don't really watch a lot of regular scripted TV as much as I used to. I watch a lot of YouTube, and one of the YouTubes I watch is CJ on 32s. CJ on 32s is actually from my area, quote unquote. He's from Joliet. I'm about, like, 35 minutes away. So, you could still say we're from the same area. He is, like, a car enthusiast. He would, like, bring on very nice sports cars onto his channel. And we just, like, we will follow him throughout the day. Like, he, I think, is vice president of a rim shop in Joliet and all that stuff. And then now, he's beefing with this other YouTuber who is from Gary. So he's probably from, like, 15 minutes away, named CJ So Cool. And honestly, this was a big mess. Now, I didn't really keep up with all of the drama. I just would see what I see on the internet. CJ So Cool on the internet running his mouth about how, oh, CJ stinks, like, really stinks, and how, CJ did this and CJ did that and blah, blah, blah. I hated seeing it because I heard that CJ So Cool is like a 36-year-old man, and he is doing something that is very 16-year-oldish. And I think it's all because of him putting his children's mother on his channel, because I think currently CJ is doing like a giveaway for a vehicle. He gives vehicles away all the time. But he was shooting a video promo and she was in there and blah, blah, blah. So all this back and forth was going on. Even the guy talked about CJ on 32's mother. I did not like that. I've watched CJ on 32's for a couple years now, and I am fully aware that, CJ's mother is deceased. I couldn't agree with what CJ So Cool did. So I was just disgusted and I just kind of shut out everything, right? So probably a day or so after I shut everything out, I follow CJ on Instagram, and CJ was in front of like a yellow tape, and there was like sirens flashing on his face. Well, because the car was over there, and he was standing over here, and you could see the lights. Um, we all know. Well, if you don't follow CJ on 32s, he is a felon. He's been to jail or prison in Illinois a lot for like guns and drugs and stuff. He talks about all of this on his channel. You just gotta follow him. I just hated that happened for him. Long story short, somebody broke in CJ's house. His girlfriend was there, and she had their baby, and the news said that she, protected her child. And do I need to go into detail? No, you guys know what I mean by that. I just hate that stuff like that just happens to people. Um, I I was like a lot of other people. I felt like CJ So Cool was involved in this, and I try not to get too deep in it because I don't know these people. I don't really follow CJ So Cool, but I was just kind of heartbroken for CJ that he went through that. They did identify the guy and all that stuff, and his actually his funeral was, well, it's 12:30 now. Technically, it was yesterday. So, but CJ, yeah, he went on his channel and basically said, I will be keeping things private. I moved out of the house that it happened in, and I thought, you know what, CJ, as you should. And I'm sorry, he's a car enthusiast. We watch him go buy these cars and all that stuff, as you should, and I support that decision. I do. But he's now going to have to make it work to a point where he won't show what's going on in his personal home and all that stuff to protect his children and his family. So I am all for what you're doing to protect them. I still enjoy watching the videos even after the situation happened, and I was very happy to see that he has, like, watching CJ on 32s. It's kind of like watching a sitcom in a way. We have CJ, the main character, and then we have the cast, which is his friends and his dad. And in the beginning of his channel, he has older children, like, that are probably like 18, 19 now. So they were a part of it. So it's like watching him and then the supporting cast. So he's a really interesting YouTuber to watch. But I just hate how that happened, and I hope CJ So Cool just learns a lesson from all this, just to keep your mouth shut. And I don't even think him and the CJ So Cool and the baby mama are even together. I don't know. Again, I really don't follow CJ So Cool. I know more about CJ on 32 than I know about CJ So Cool. So I just wanted to add that in there. So we're going to move on from that. Sean Kingston is sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. This just goes to show that Hollywood is a horrible place, and your fall from grace can happen at any time. Y'all, Sean Kingston, when I was like in middle school, where he had beautiful girls, I think I was like in 6th grade or something. Yeah, 6th grade, and beautiful girls was everywhere. The radio, the video was on TV all the time. Like all that stuff. Like Sean Kingston was the shiznit, His music was awesome. I bet that album that Beautiful Girls was on, it went like quadruple platinum. So, Sean Kingston was arrested for scamming like this. I think it was either like home audio equipment guy or something. Him and his mom, and yeah, so they got arrested or whatever, and this was like 3 years ago or something. So I guess they've been kind of fighting that case for a while. So yeah, Sean was actually sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. His mom got sentenced to, I think, 5 years in prison. So it's just sad because that's how, like, Hollywood can eat you up and spit you right out, and you are put in a position to, I want to say, survive, but also maintain that luxurious lifestyle that they're so accustomed to from the time of beautiful girls. I mean, but if you do the crime, you do the time. So I don't know when his he's reporting to prison day is, or if he's already in there. I don't know that, but I just know that he been sentenced to 3.5 years. So yeah. Some car news. Land Rover has 121,000 vehicles recalled, and the CEO is stepping down. So for the recalls, I'm not surprised because those vehicles are not as good as they used to be. I'm on TikTok, as I always am, and this girl, I think she was probably younger than me. She bought a 2008 Land Rover. So imagine, like, if you watch the Keeping Up with the Kardashians in 2008, probably the same one Kim, Chloe, Courtney, or whoever had. And she says that they are reliable, they're good, there's nope, she's not having any problems, blah blah blah. So y'all gotta keep in mind, right? I used to work for Land Rover. I worked in the service department. I never really sold the Land Rovers because they were so expensive and nobody was buying them. So every day I was service BDC. So service BDC is basically if you drive a Jaguar, a Land Rover, and you need an oil change. So you call the dealership, they dispatch the call to me, I schedule your appointment, and you come in, you get your appointment, I get paid. And I had a lot of phone calls saying I need coolant, I need windshield wiper because it depleted after a week, or the coolant would deplete after a week, and I need another refill. Like, I drive a 10-year-old car, y'all. I have not once needed coolant. Well, because I get that stuff when I get my car serviced. But I never needed as much coolant as I needed like a Land Rover owner. Now, they're very beautiful cars, very luxurious. I've even seen people use their Land Rovers to tow stuff, which I never understood that, but to each his own. But it's just like it needs a lot of work. Sometimes the doorknob, the door handle don't open, and it's got those funny Tesla-like door handles, and you gotta get in your car. I've had a customer that said their shifter doesn't work, and it's a 2025, 2024, and it's a new car. Like, it was just sad, and I just hope that they can fix the recalls, and I hope it's more organized because I used to work for Cadillac too, and there was this big recall on the Cadillac SRX. So it's like a SUV. They don't make them anymore. They stopped making them in like 2016. But a lot of people would call into the service department. Now, I didn't officially work in the service department. I was just helping out. But I took phone calls saying, I had to take their information down and all this stuff, and I had to explain to them that the part wasn't in, and we'll give you a call once it is. And keep in mind, this was during the chip shortage. I had to do that. So, also the CEO is stepping down. So I guess Land Rover is looking for like someone younger, because young eyes can kind of redirect where Land Rover is going. Young eyes can understand that my generation is not buying $150,000 cars. $150,000 if you want it fully loaded, at least 90 if you want the basic tier. So I think they should just get a young CEO that understands that. So yeah, so best of luck to them. KFC is bringing back their wedges and their barbecue wings. I thought the marketing for the wedges were hilarious. They sent out a tweet of the picture of the wedge that said, "Here, damn," like, "Here, damn," like, stop begging. You know what I mean? I love the marketing about that. They did also bring back the barbecue wings. Now, I think I read somewhere it's only temporary. But if you ask me, and I'm not a marketing expert or nothing, but if you ask me, you should bring them back permanently. You should bring back the wedges permanently, and you can make way more money. Way more money. I don't even like KFC like that. I prefer Popeyes because I ate more Popeyes than KFC. I used to eat a lot of KFC when I was a kid because they had the grilled chicken because I didn't want the 7-Eleven herbs and spices. I wanted something grilled and healthy. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you all just do that, I'll probably come back because that's just, if you ask me, a good idea just to keep that stuff because people been asking for it for years. Like, we want the barbecue wings and um the wedges, not the fries. They said the fries ain't good. I mean, I don't know. I never had them, but the last thing I probably had from like KFC was the potato chicken corn thing, which made absolutely no sense. And looking back at it now, with like the working out and eating more healthier, is like, oh my god, that is disgusting. Disgusting. You don't know Claire's is closing. I used to like Claire's as a child. I didn't. Well, we had Claire's in the mall where I grew up, but we also had icing. Now, Claire's was for the little girls, probably from 5 to 12. But if you were a mature young lady from 12 to like maybe 25, you go to icing. You get like cute jewelry and cute bedroom accessories and all that stuff. Also, I don't know if they make this magazine, but I used to love this magazine growing up. It was called Discovery Girl, right? And, there was Discovery Girl and it was All American Girl. I always liked Discovery better because, it had like more relatable stuff in there. And there were a lot of like products and stuff that was advertised in Discovery Girl. We had an icing in our local mall, so I went in there and it was just a lot of cute, age appropriate stuff. But it's a part of Claire's, so it's going away too, and I hate that. I always like Claire's for little girls because you can buy stuff and still be a little girl. You know what I mean? But I think a reason why that Claire's is closing is because yeah, it kind of got expensive over the years. But also these little girls that are supposed to be in Claire's are in Ulta, not buying face wash, they're buying makeup. They're in Sephora buying makeup and retinol and all that stuff. So I think that's why Claire's is failing, and I hate that. I loved icing more because Claire's, like, if I go into a Claire's at my age, what the heck are you doing there? So I like always like icing, but yeah, I think it's the shift in society. What young girls are doing now is more so makeup, and they want to go to Ulta and Sephora. I also think every time I hear about Claire's, I think about Chad Ochocinco. And if y'all know Chad Ochocinco, he is like the cheapest dude alive. And he, the big rock in the ears that like these ball players wear, right? He would buy his rock in the ear from Claire's for like, he said $10, and he would save so much money. So I wonder, where would Chad get his earrings from now? Or if he stepped up his game and went to a jeweler in Miami somewhere. So rest in peace to Claire's, man. My childhood. My childhood's gone. AOL dial-up is shutting down after almost 30 years. Now, when I first heard this news, I was like, really? Like, people still use dial-up? But I read somewhere and somebody explained it to me that, people live in rural areas and probably don't have that fiber optic cable hookup in their yards or whatever. And also, we got to think about the old people that probably don't want to like move over to wireless internet, and that's how they get on the internet. And they don't have, you can also like buy a splitter, like one box be your dial-up modem, and then another can be like your Wi-Fi box. But some people are just not understanding or very accepting of that. But yes, dial-up is going away. When I was a kid, We had dial-up internet and we had American Online, which that's who's shutting down. And what I remember about American Online, oh my God, this was so annoying. And let me know if y'all went through this too. They would send you discs, CDs in the mail, and they would say, they would give you free internet on the discs. Now, the catch to this is children born after 2000. You had a certain amount of free internet. So I guess, I don't know, because we had it, but we never had the disc. In my house, we had a phone jack and a long cord, one computer. So the computer was in my brother's room, right? The long cord would be raveled up on the door. So if we wanted to use the internet, we had to unravel this long cord, probably the same size as Shaq laying down or something. We had to unravel it, plug it into the wall. What did we have to unplug for the internet to work? We had to unplug our home phone. Now, this was when I was a kid. I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 12, 13. And then by then, we still had the long cord. But maybe 14, 15, 16, that's when we kind of converted over to wireless internet. So we unraveled the long cord and plugged our phone, and we plugged in the internet. Boom. So now we turn on our computer. We sit and wait for the dial-up to connect. And we wait and we wait. Sometimes it was real slow. Now, I think the rule for me and my brother was do not get on the internet when our mom's not home. She was the only one with a cell phone at the time. So say she went to the store and she probably forgot something, or she wanted to ask us something or whatever. She had to call home. And I think my brother didn't have a cell phone at the time. I know for sure I didn't have a cell phone at the time. But she had to call home. So if me or my brother is on the internet and she call home, she can't get through. Yeah, that's how life was back in the day. So yeah, so she would come home and get mad at us and like, I tried to call y'all, blah blah blah. So yeah, that was dial up, and I don't miss that at all. I don't miss that at all. So we didn't have like Wi-Fi until I was like in high school or something. I don't know. No, yeah, no, it was probably middle school, high school. We didn't have it, and a fresh breath air, a, a fresh. What is the saying? I can't even think today 'cause it's so late. A breath of fresh air. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. But yeah, it's unfortunate for like the elder people and the people in rural areas. So I hope they get like the connections they need. And I just really don't miss them discs. Like my grandma, well, not my grandmother, my auntie. My auntie was really into computers and stuff because she was a clerk. So I remember going to my grandmother's house and just seeing a stack of those loud colored AOL discs of like 50 hours of free internet, and then once the free internet's up, you're done. So yeah, I don't miss that at all. I can't believe AOL is still standing. Like how did they go with the change of technology? I want to know that. But moving on from that. So Mississippi STD rates are skyrocketing, and I just want to say ill. But also keep in mind that the South is a little bit more conservative. They don't believe in condoms. They don't, well, this is what my theory is. I could be wrong. They don't believe in condoms. They don't believe in birth control. And they believe if you have sex, get pregnant, and you don't want to keep the baby, you're going to keep it anyway. So that's why. Just still ill STD rates. Like that's low key embarrassing. So yeah. E News is ending after 34 years. I couldn't believe that E News was on that long. I grew up watching E News. The first person I remember being on E News, and I'm gonna probably flubber her name. Her name was Debbie Metropolis or something. I don't know, but her name was Debbie, and she kind of looked like Mariah Carey to me, I guess. Yeah, she was on there, and then years passed, and then we had Juliana Rancic, and I guess she said something nasty about Zendaya, and I think that's when she got kicked off. I'm not sure, because when all that was going down, we didn't really have cable in the house anymore, so we didn't. I couldn't really watch E News, and then after a while, like in 2007, 2008, that's when like the Kardashian bust happened, and this was like every day. Some Kim Kardashian did, some Khloe Kardashian did, some Kourtney Kardashian did. Kourtney Kardashian has another baby. Kris Jenner did this. Kim Kardashian did this. That's what E News kind of turned into. Granted, okay, other stuff and celebrities would happen. They only get like 5 seconds, but when a Kardashian do something, they would get like a whole 30 minutes. So I think that's another reason for the downfall of E News. And then also, again, y'all keep in mind, E is not what it used to be. I don't even know what comes on E. Um, E News is leaving. There's no Kardashians unless they show reruns. Um, there's no other good shows on E. It's just a bunch of reruns. So I guess they couldn't afford to keep the lights on for E News, which is fine because also they're not going away permanently. If you have social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, they're still on there. Um, if you ask me, between like People Magazine and E News on Facebook, they're very, very, very accurate and on time about celebrity news or just other news. You know, they sometimes report civilian news too, but they're very on time with it. So they're going to be okay without the television aspect, but they're going to thrive in like the digital publication aspect. So they'll be fine. Um, let's see. The US citizens are allowed to Venmo to pay towards the US debt. Y'all know what I think about that? Of course, that's why y'all listening. That's not our responsibility. We weren't there when you signed, when, you know, all those papers were signed. And this is nothing to Joe Biden, even though he did do it, just no disrespect. We weren't there when he signed those papers to send money to Ukraine and all that stuff. We weren't there to sign when he signed, when, or Donald Trump signed papers to give money to X, Y, and Z. We weren't there. Why is it our responsibility? I mean, granted, we do live in the country. We pay the taxes. Isn't that good enough? But you want us to use our personal Venmos. And you know what I think? I bet if somebody Venmo to put towards the US debt, that would give whoever access to request their Venmo. Just think about it. You Venmo $40, $40 towards the trillions of debt that the US is in. What if the US government turn around and they request $1,000 from you just because? Like I've never, and Cash App and stuff have been out for years. I have never heard of Joe Biden asking us send money towards the deficit through Cash App. I've never heard Barack Obama be like, well, Cash App and Zelle and all that stuff wasn't really a thing before when Obama was in office, but he's never asked us to wire money to the U.S. So that shouldn't be our responsibility. That just doesn't make sense. Does not make any sense. So don't do it, y'all, because it's probably a scam. It's probably a scam. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, I should call him Coach Prime. It was revealed that Coach Prime had cancer, and I kind of had a feeling it was some sort of cancer because there was a video. I don't know where it was, but somebody went to, I think it was $1 million worth of game. They went to Lil Duval's property, because Lil Duval, if you follow him, he has a house in the lake or whatever. I think it was because Gilly and Wallow, they're close to Coach Prime. And I think Gilly FaceTimed Coach Prime while they were there, and Coach Prime said, "You know, I'm going through something." So I just thought either he was sickly but no cancer, or he had cancer. So it came out that he had bladder cancer, and he had his bladder removed. And I saw the video on his son's YouTube. He has a fake bladder now. So it's not like a real bladder. He has to like put more work in to use the bathroom, what he said on the video. So that all that was documented. His surgeries, him getting better, being at home with his family, and all that stuff. Now I don't mean to be messy, but y'all, guess who made a little cameo appearance on that video? Karuchi. I didn't know they were dating unless she was seen with him and they said something about it and I didn't really care. But that's his boo. Like, she was in the hospital with him, and I know that's right. She was all up in the video, and I love her haircut. She had her hair cut short, and she was for her boo. She was crying and just asking a lot of questions, as you should for your man. But that's his boo. That's his boo, and it was just confirmed today because I was on ESPN, or no, even not ESPN. Damn it, TMZ. And she basically confirmed it. She said she's having a lot of fun dating Deion Sanders. That's why that's why I'm so pro like age gap relationships, because Deion Sanders is very much older than her. But also, people gotta understand, yes, Karuchi looks young, but she's like 38. So she's grown, and it's perfectly okay. I wish people would stop like attacking her for it. But yeah, like, she just confirmed that like it's so much fun dating him and all that stuff. And I think she's in a great relationship now. I know she used to date Chris Brown. We all know about Chris Brown. I don't need to go into detail about that. And then she dated Victor Cruz. Now, I didn't know nothing about that relationship. I know they were together, but I know nothing. Like, I don't know if Victor was like toxic or not. He seemed like a nice guy. I don't know. So she's in a really, 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 really great space, and I'm really happy for her. That just goes to show y'all that age gap couples do work. So leave us alone. So moving on from that, Bobby Atloff. If you guys don't know who that is, she's the podcaster that be like, I know some. I don't want to say something wrong with her, but I think as an act, like, she act like something wrong with her, and her podcast be so funny, especially when she did it with Funny Marco. And Funny Marco be acting like something wrong with him too. But yeah, her podcast ended, and she said, I don't think she ever explained it, but I think it's because of the, I don't want to say inconsistency, but it's not like, I subscribe to it on Apple Music. It wasn't like as consistent like if you listen to an episode of New Rory and Mal, or you listen to Joe Budden or whoever, because they drop stuff like every 2 weeks. So yeah, she wasn't very consistent, but I heard she has another podcast, so hopefully she'll be consistent with that one. I do enjoy Bobby Atloff though. She's so funny, and she's like 2 years younger than me. And she 2 years younger than me, already divorced and got 2 kids. I'm like, wow. But I guess she's not stressed about it or whatever. So yeah, best of luck to you, Bobby, because you got you'll be all right. BET suspends the Soul Train and Hip Hop Awards. I honestly don't blame them. they'll keep the regular BET Awards because that's been on for like 25 years. The Soul Train Awards have been on since forever, since before I was born, because you gotta keep in mind, Soul Train was created by Don Cornelius, who started Soul Train in Chicago and moved Soul Train to LA. But you know what? And I guess them canceling the Soul Train Awards, I think that puts the nail in the coffin of the Soul Train legacy. Soul Train was taken off air in 2006. I was 11 years old. I don't know if I ever shared this. One of my dream jobs was to dance on Soul Train. And then I'd get grown and there's no Soul Train. Like, my mom grew up on Soul Train. I grew up on Soul Train. I remember when my dad was living in the city, Saturday mornings, WGN Soul Train was on. And I would watch the beautiful people dance to the latest hip hop songs. Who was hosting? I think it was Maestro Clark and then Shamar Moore. And then between that, it was just like random people. So, yeah, like the Soul Train legacy is done for. Don Cornelius is gone. He died in like 2012. So, I think now Soul Train should be like in a museum somewhere, you know. So yeah, there's no more Soul Train Awards. Hip Hop Awards, I think I never watch the Hip Hop Awards. And every time I do watch like a clip of something, it's like overstimulating, and also where hip hop is going for the young people, it could be very overstimulating for the older people, and don't nobody want to watch that. And also, it's on BET. Not a lot of people have cable, so I guess that's why. But they'll keep the BET, the regular BET Awards. I guess that's fine. Um, Rashida keeps getting trolled by K Michelle, and honestly, with what's going on with Rashida and her family, K Michelle, it's not a good time to do that right now. But it was the song she was singing since like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is still on air. I don't understand that. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, Rashida's son Kai, who I remember as a little boy on Love and Hip Hop, he's a suspect in this rapper. I guess his name is T Hood shooting or whatever. K Michelle is just not good timing right now. And also, I think Kai was just protecting his sister because there was, at first everybody was like, oh, she's involved. She did something, blah, 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 blah. But it later came out that Kai, or not Kai, Kelsey, the one that be on Love and Hip Hop, I think that's her. She was getting abused on camera. So, but yeah, that investigation is going on, and K Michelle is just singing about how Rashida has bags and blah blah blah. K Michelle, just hold off for a minute because the family's going through something, and it's just not nice. It's not nice. Rest in peace. I just want to say rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. I was not a fan of Hulk Hogan. I didn't know who Hulk Hogan was until Hogan Knows Best. And even when I watched Hogan Knows Best, I didn't like the way he treated Brooke. So I'm just going to say rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Brandon Blackstock, if you don't know who that is, he was married to Kelly Clarkson. That's her ex-husband. I remember when they were going back and forth publicly in court and stuff, but he actually passed away of cancer. And also, it was revealed that his final partner was Kelly Clarkson's like production assistant. They could have held that. They could have kept that and not told anybody that, because people are crazy and they can make up stuff and run with, and other people can run with it. But he passed away. He was I also didn't know this. He was Reba McEntire's stepson and the mother to his younger brother, I guess. So, yeah, rest in peace to him. Also, rest in peace to Danielle Spencer, Dr. Danielle Spencer, I should say. She played Dee in What's Happening. Now, I didn't really watch What's Happening, but I do see clips of the show from time to time. And what makes me laugh is that one episode of What's Happening where she gave Raj and his friend, I don't know, I forgot his name, like a etiquette lesson on people being on the phone. And then I think she kind of gave like a similar lesson to like the Doobie Brothers on What's Happening. So I thought that was funny, but she did amazing things. Like, she left the show business. She became a veterinarian, Dr. Danielle Spencer. So rest in peace to her. Kevin Federline is writing a book. And the reason why I say that is because we don't care, because Kevin Federline needs some money. But, I understand it's the job market and everybody needs a job. But I can make a quick suggestion to you. If you got forklift experience, you could go work at Sam's Club. I think they pay really good and it's fun. I mean, I used to work at Sam's Club years ago and I would watch the forklift drivers and they would like stock the stuff and they can go up and down the aisles because obviously it's Sam's Club and it's huge and they wore what they wanted and I bet they made a great wage and they had like wives and girlfriends and stuff at home because I know you do because you remarried after Britney Spears, but y'all live in Hawaii, so you got to get like a forklift certification or whatever. But yeah, he writing a book, and y'all know I'm nosy. I want to see what I'm gonna read it. But then also, I read Britney Spears' book too, and I feel like she was hiding something. So maybe if I go and read Kevin Federline's book, would he probably like say stuff? But then again, he'll probably lie for sales. I don't know. I'll still read it though. I'll still read it. And lastly, Little Nas X. He was arrested for assaulting a police officer. Basically, what happened? Because I don't know. Maybe I didn't pay attention to it. I did see videos of him walking around LA in his underwear and boots. Um, I don't think it was an act. I think it was a certain drug. That's why I say Hollywood is not a real place. Like, you could have your fall from grace at any time. Now, mind you, Lil Nas X, we haven't really heard from him in a couple years now. He did have a really good album back in like 2022, 2023, but we haven't heard from him since. So, is it drugs or is it mental illness? Like, we don't know. He is out. He paid like $75,000 bond, so he's home. But they are saying that he is facing like felony charges and stuff. So I don't want to like sit and analyze the situation. I just want to say my heart goes out to him, and I hope it all works out. But yeah, that is the end of my time with you guys. An hour and 17 minutes. This is insane. So this episode will probably be up later today or whatever. But I did upload 3 videos, so you guys could go check those out, and this one too. And you can like, share, subscribe to my YouTube. The podcast is on your favorite podcast platforms. So I'm everywhere now. I ain't going nowhere. And that's it for me. Peace, y'all.